Hi, welcome to Brady's Blunders, where I show you my mistakes in the hopes that you don't make the same ones in your games. In the first two videos, I made a mistake so bad that when my opponent punished it, the game was effectively over. This time it's a little bit different in that though I made a really big mistake, my opponent wasn't able to fully capitalize on it. Unfortunately, this video is going to go a little longer than I like for a few reasons. Number one, it's a middle game complex situation. And second, I have to talk about both sides' mistakes and show some variations for each. I'm going to set up a position and I'm going to ask where you would have played. And then I'll go ahead and show the actual continuation, warts and all. Then I'll show how my opponent should have punished me. And finally, I'll come back and talk about the blunder and how I should have continued. Let's get into it. My opponent is Bo Hesberg, who's a rising young player from the Twin Cities with a fearsome reputation for fighting. Given my results in the prior two games, I really welcomed a good fight. Bo's playing black and I'm playing white, and we're in a big fight. We both misplayed a Joseki in the upper right, and the fighting has continued all the way out into the middle of the board. Actually, over the course of the game, the fighting ended up going all the way into this corner. So that was good fun. But at this point, I played a move vaguely surrounding black stones and asking, can you get out? And black thought for a minute and played here and said, yeah, I can get out. And I read the board and thought, actually, I don't think he can. I think I can capture these stones. And I played here. The purpose of this move is if black continues at A, white's going to cover him at B, and if he comes out at B, white will go ahead and wedge in at A with the purpose of capturing these stones. Well, black extended, and then I read the board again, and I realized, uh-oh, I can't capture these stones. All right, so with that set up, let me ask you where you would play. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video and think about that for a few minutes. Unlike the last time, you don't have to be perfect. It really is a matter of intent here. So if you get a few moves right, good. All right, did you pause? Where did you play as white? Did you play here? Well, if so, good news and bad news. The bad news is this is a bad move. The good news is that this video is just for you. All right, so I played this, and now I'll show the continuation. Black wedged here, which actually wasn't good. It cost black a liberty, which he didn't need to do. And white extended, and then black came out here. This is actually the wrong direction. Black really wants a peep at A, and to help the top side and to chase white. And I immediately took advantage, and I played here. My goal was to put pressure on these stones, and in so doing, hopefully settle my running group. And then we had an interesting continuation. Which was quite fun. Black cut here. I picked up, black ataried, I connected, and then black captured these two stones, securing the top as his. But he did it in gote. And so did I accomplish my mission? Well, one thing I got was a position in the corner, which was really cool. The other is, even though these are only connected via a large knight's move, it's actually really hard for black to cut because black's shortage of liberties because of these white stones here. So yeah, white accomplished white's mission. I immediately came back and played here, and I, in effect, offering Bo the chance to continue the fight. And he almost instantly said, okay. And as I said, the fight continued to the lower left corner where I got lucky and Bo made a mistake and I was able to connect out and actually take away the corner. And I held on to that advantage for the rest of the game. So what could black have done differently? Well, this move for a start. When I invited black to fight, black didn't need to accept. Indeed, this move says that these two stones are important, and I'm going to cut them off. But these two stones really aren't that important. And if instead black played here, that would be a forcing move. If black played here, and indeed these two stones were important, and this is a way of showing that they aren't, say white connects. Now black gets a few more forcing moves. White connects, black plays somewhere around here. And what's the situation on the board look like? A, which had been a running group in danger, is now thickness facing the center. It's totally safe. As a matter of fact, it's already taking territory on the left-hand side. White's B group is actually floating and still a target. Matter of fact, it's almost certain that white would try to connect with his group on the right with the very next move. So then if you look at the balance of territory, white's got a little bit up here and a little bit over here, not even for sure the corner yet. If you assume that black's top is about the equivalent of white's right-hand side, then all black needs to do is get more over here on the left and the bottom than white has up here plus Comey. It should be pretty easy. So this situation would be very good for black. So of course white isn't going to connect to B, and it's going to be a little bit more complicated than this, but that's the point. B isn't important. Let's go back to the blunder and see how, to white's blunder, and see how black should have played. So white just, instead of wedging, played out. What black can do is play this, and it still leaves the cutting point behind. So when white moves out, and black moves out, and white moves out, now black can get this piece. The purpose of this is a great piece. It does a few things. Number one is it's going to make white connect with some form of ugly shape. Number two is it pretty much assures the connection of this group with the upper left-hand corner. And then finally, after white goes ahead and protects the peep, it encloses white's position and says, here, you try to live in a narrow space. Of course white's not going to die. There's probably 20 different variations in which white can live. The point is he needs to do it, and he probably needs to do it now. So without showing a whole bunch of variations in which white does it, let's just play a stone and agree that white's alive with two assumptions. Number one, white's not too big, and number two, white ends in gote. If black's pressuring white ends in gote for black, then he didn't do it right. So let's just make those two assumptions. White's alive, pretty small, and in gote. Now put black stone here for black's next move. And what do you think of the board? As white, I'm horrified. Again, white doesn't have much cash and has a really weak group which has just been cut off from the right-hand side. Even if this white group lives, and it's no sure thing that it will, black should gain a ton of profit on the bottom and the left side by attacking it. This is a really bad game for white, and I'm very lucky black didn't continue this way. Of course, the series isn't Beau's blunders, it's Brady's blunders. So let's get back to the original blunder. So why was this move so bad? All right, I'll give you a couple of reasons, and let's go back to strong black play. Say black plays here, and then white extends, and then black plays here. When white played A, white forced black to play B, right? But B is a move black really wanted anyway. It's an extension from a weak group. It adds liberties. It starts to become thickness towards the center. It's a really good move for black. But what's A to white? A is nothing. It's not even connected to this group. It's so weak. It's like it's like a tennis ball stuck in the net. So whether it's thank you moves or efficiency, you can see that A forcing B is really bad unless white wedges. Then it could be good. Why else is this move bad? When my teacher saw it, she said, Brady, I wish you'd wedged and died and lost instead of playing this move and winning. I mean, whoa, that's a strong statement. And what did she mean by it? Well, it's about attitude. And when strong players play Go, they're talking to each other through the stones. And each stone is saying something. It's saying, I'm surrounding you. And they reply, oh, but I think I can get out. And the other person is saying, now I'm going to threaten to kill this group. And the other person replies, but I'm going to be fine. Right? And they're talking to each other through the moves. Well, if that's the case, what does this move say? Especially followed up 2 moves after this move. This move says, I've got a plan, and I'm going to wedge at A. And then just 1 move later, White says, never mind. Frankly, this move is wimpy. And when you project weakness to your opponent, number 1, they're going to lose respect for you, and number 2, they're going to feel better about their chances, and neither of those are a good thing. Okay, so Jenny would be happier if I died instead of playing this. So what happens if I do play it? Well, of course I'm not going to die. White's going to go ahead and cut. Black cuts, White connects, and then this black group only has 2 liberties. So let's say Black just pushes out. White connects, and Black comes out to relative safety. And then White does the same with his long running group. Let's look at the board. You've got 4 weak groups. A is weak, B is weak, C is weak, and D is weak. Is that a big bad deal? Well, what White needs to know is which is the more important group. B's only got 3 stones, and D has 6 stones. So is D the more important group? No. B is the more important group because it's cutting 2 different black groups that are not yet alive. D is only cutting 1 group that's not yet alive. This group over here is virtually alive. So what White needs to realize is that so long as I can save B and come out with B, my situation is going to be okay. If Black chases White from A this way, and then as White comes out this way, you can see that C is starting to get swallowed up, and White's going to be fine. If Black comes out from the C direction and forces White this way, well, there's no doubt that Group A is going to die. So remember the situation I showed you earlier after White's wimpy play, that Black can have an absolute dominant position. I'm not saying White's ahead this way, but it's certainly a lot better than that. Of course, Black doesn't have to just play this way. There are other situations possible too. I mean, Black can go ahead and cut an Atari. So White answers, and he can do it again. So White answers. Black can push to safety. White doesn't even need to extend here. He can go ahead and cover and threaten to capture him with the wall at A. It's starting to get crazy, isn't it? All right, so Black cuts and White answers, and Black Ataris. White extends. And then all of a sudden, Black gets to play a move. And yes, says Black, I've got you. And I'm going to be able to save this group, right? If White goes in and helps this stone at B, then Black can capture these 3 stones in a ladder. And if White helps these 3 stones, then Black can go ahead and capture B in a ladder. So one way or the other, Black is safe. Woohoo! But of course, White can just do this and capture these stones in a ladder. That works. Black does what he said he was going to do, captures that stone, and then White plays here. Are you reading out the ladder right now? If so, you're a little bit too much like me for your own good, because it's not a ladder. It's a net. All right, so let's look at this position. Black's dominating the bottom, and White's dominating the left side. And the situation's still fluid. It's a good game. One good thing about it is Black really needs to come back and play a move around A. He owes a move. And if he doesn't, White's going to get to play around there and wreak some havoc. So there you go. I'm not saying White's got a 1 position because after all, Black hadn't blundered. But it's still a good game. unlike the continuation with slightly better black play after the blunder. So what to learn from this game? Well, first and foremost, play the damn wedge. And I don't mean that literally. I don't mean anytime you see a wedge, you should play the wedge. But if you make a plan and the opponent complies with the plan, follow through. Don't wimp out at the last minute. I guess the other thing to learn is more from Black's perspective, because in the actual game, Black had the opportunity to end the fight, to simplify the game, and have a big lead. And he didn't do it. He continued the fight, and in so doing, it gave me the opportunity to come back later, which I was able to do. This game was great fun, but the next game that I play is the one that I can get 2 videos out of. That's right, 2 blunders. See you next time.